Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Living in Northern Arizona. It is a beautiful but warm day here in Sedona. It looks like we're about to get a summer monsoon, and that's great news for us here in Arizona. Today's video topic is more pros and cons of living in Sedona. Now, I did a video similar to this last year during COVID when I had a bad hair day, but content was good and it's been very popular, so I thought I would do it again, give you some more pros and cons that I've come into contact with living here in Northern Arizona in Sedona. So there is number one pro is this is a great place to take walks. And I know walks might seem like it's not a very difficult exercise, but you know, for us people that are getting a little bit older, walking is a good way to get out and get moving. And here there are beautiful places to walk. First, you just can walk out in your neighborhood and walk around the block and you have pretty views everywhere. Then there are great hiking trails, always within a half mile usually about every place you would live. And then finally there's the golf course. Now, I have walked on the golf course and had the golfers come and tell me, don't walk on the golf course when we're playing golf because we might hit you with the golf ball. So I'm like, okay, if you're that bad at golf, I will stay away until the sun goes down. So number one pro, living here in Sedona is a great way to get walking into your exercise routine. If you're kind of a couch potato type like I am and trying to get more healthy, it's a great place for you to start doing that. Number two, okay, first I want to explain that the home prices here are very high. They're probably about 35% higher than if you lived in Phoenix. But the good thing about that is that your value seems to remain high even in bad economic times. So before I moved to Sedona, I did a little bit of research and I just pulled data out of the MLS, and I looked at how badly did home prices decline in Sedona versus how bad they declined in Phoenix. So remember, the housing bubble was terrible in Phoenix. I think a lot of homeowners lost maybe 50% of their value, but from the numbers I was looking at, it didn't seem to be as bad in Sedona. Yes, Sedona residents lost value, but it didn't seem to be 50%, maybe closer to 25%. So maybe the prices here are a little less elastic than they are in the valley. So high home prices, but you know, there are a finite number of homes here in Sedona, so they aren't going to go down to, you know, a tenth of what they were once worth, most likely when you live here in Sedona. So that's number two. Number three is the people that are locals are very friendly. So a lot of people here are tourists, but the locals get to know you, like the ladies in the grocery store or Ace Hardware, the restaurants, and sometimes you even get a local discount, but you build up a camaraderie because, you know, you live here, and 80% of the people that the service industry deals with are probably tourists. So it's nice to see the same friendly faces, and you start to, you know, get to know who lives here and who doesn't. So that's kind of nice. Number four is the views are unique pretty much anywhere you live in Sedona. So even if your view is a little bit blocked, you could go out, walk about 50 feet, and you might see some beautiful red rock views. And there are so many different angles, like from the village of Oak Creek, say, I've got a great view of Courthouse Butte, actually, from my house. And if that neighbor would cut the tree, I would have $1 million view, but that hasn't happened yet. So, and if you're in West Sedona, you have beautiful views of the other landmarks here in Sedona. So beautiful views no matter where you go, and that's a great reason to live here. And number five is really, I think Sedona is a great location within the state. So within Sedona, you have pretty much access to everything you need. You've got the grocery stores, you've got the oil change place, you've got the Ace Hardware has just about everything. And then if you need to go get something at Lowe's or Home Depot, oh, you just drive over to Cottonwood, and say you want to go to Costco or car dealership. Actually, car dealerships, there are quite a few of those in Cottonwood, but in Flagstaff has about everything else. The big furniture stores, the car dealers, every restaurant you could think of in Flagstaff. So within half an hour to Cottonwood, an hour to Flagstaff, and maybe if you really need something bad in Phoenix, that's only 2 hours away. So again, a great location at the state, a great elevation with not too hot of weather in the summer and not too cold in the summer. So now I'm going to go ahead and tell you the cons of living here in Sedona. Of course, number one is the price of real estate is high. Again, about 35% higher than the same type of home in Phoenix. When you look at the cost of living of places in Arizona, Sedona is one of the higher places to live, but that is almost exclusively because of the either rent price or the price to buy a home. I see gasoline prices, insurance, groceries a little higher, but basically it is the cost of housing that makes Sedona unaffordable to many people. So, you know, that's number one, high home prices. Number two is that there are some neighborhoods where you're kind of unfortunate because they're close to a trail, and the trail parking lots will fill up, and then people will park in the neighborhoods in front of your house. And I see lots of neighborhoods, actually one on Backo Beyond, where there's a cop sitting there preventing people coming in because the trailhead is full and they don't want people parking in front of your yards. And I see the same thing here. You know, it's the Bell Rock Trail. I see some of the local houses have signs, you know, no hiking, parking, and that kind of stuff. So I want to give you a story about what is difficult about having strangers parking in front of your house all the time. So my father grew up in Coney Island. Coney Island being a beach town, there were a lot of people that would come and park in the neighborhoods to go to the beach. So one day, and my dad was not a no-nonsense person, someday somebody had parked straddling his driveway, you know, so he couldn't get his car out to go to work. So, being the practical person my dad was, he went out and he smashed the window in with the crowbar, moved the car about 50 feet away, and then left a note on the guy's car that said, "I had to break your window to move your car so I could get out and go to work. If you have a problem with it, I will be home at 5:30. And the guy never came back. So, but that's the kind of thing you have to deal with. You might have people parking in front of your house if you have a beautiful home that's close to the trail during the high season. So number four actually, is that we have a lot of homes in Sedona have been around 30 to 40 years, and so most every home you buy, I mean, recently people have been coming in and fixing them up, but there are a lot of homes that are expensive, big, beautiful homes with views, and yet it looks like you went to the hot tub time machine and warped out in 1983. I see a lot of homes with the same weirdo cabinets that I have in this place that were put out around, you know, late 80s, where it's a two-tone. You've got the ivory and you've got the oak, and that must have been very carpenter's pal back in the day, but you'll see a lot of that where, you know, the house is nice, but you have to do updating. Of course, you don't need to do updating. Remember that. Updating is not something that's needed. It's something that is just aesthetic, but again, that's something you might have to deal with. Another thing on the number 4 is that there are some big, beautiful homes here that don't have central air conditioning. So, and it's just, it doesn't get that hot, and when it does, it's not that long, but a lot of the homes, even $1 million homes, might have a swamp cooler, and they might have those portable air units, like the kind of split ones that go on the wall. So some homes not having air conditioning, it's kind of a con, but you know, it does happen. Even the $1 million homes here, you could run into that. So that's just something you have to live with being here in Sedona. Number 5, some people have asked me about the romance department. Is it easy to find love or relationships here in Sedona? I'm gonna say no to that. But, you know, relationships is not my bag of tea. But often, like if you're out somewhere and you see somebody, well, that looks like an interesting guy, I wouldn't mind meeting him. But you have to pounce fast, because chances are people you meet, you will never see them again. So with the tourists and a lot of stuff, I'd say difficult to find romance if you're into dating, or sometimes difficult to make new friends. So I myself all the new friends I made have been previous clients, and I am so lucky that I attract a type of buyers and sellers that are similar to my personality. I don't know why it is, but it's great because I have made some friends living here, but I know a lot of people complain it's a little bit difficult to meet people and to make friends, and definitely if you're into dating, I don't really date that much, might be difficult in the romance department. And number 6, actually this is the bonus one because I was only going to give 5, but the internet is still crappy here. Now there's some providers that are better than others. I came to town and I decided to go with HughesNet, because there's a satellite provider, which is good most of the time, unless we have a cloudy day or a windy day, and then it takes forever for me to upload files. So recently, Starlink has come to the village of Oak Creek. We're one of their test markets. I signed up. I know other people in the village have it. I haven't gotten my receiver or equipment yet, but I did sign up for it. It's supposed to be way better, really good, and I'm really excited waiting for that. And I know Suddenlink, a lot of people say that's been good, although I see reports of it going down, so I couldn't really tell you. What kind of upset me about the HughesNet thing is I moved to town. I said, I don't know, I'm going to move in a little while. Should I still sign up? And they said, oh yes, the service is transferable. Well, it was transferable, but I had lived here a year, and when I moved, oh, they transferred my service, but now that reset my start date. So I can't cancel for another 2 years. Actually, it's another less than a year now, but 2 years because they reset it. And they didn't tell me that yes, it's transferable, but you're starting brand new. So again, I'm going to keep the HughesNet and get the Starlink, hopefully, and kind of phase one out and go with the other. So internet can be a problem, but there are workarounds and there's some help coming soon. So that's it. My name's Dawn Dickenson. I live here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. My channel is Living in Northern Arizona, where I post topics on Arizona themes, mostly Northern Arizona themes, but sometimes topics that affect the entire state. I sell real estate here in Sedona, Verde Valley, Flagstaff. So if you have a real estate question or you're interested in getting maybe a list of homes for sale in Verde Valley, you can contact me. If you look in the description, my email address, my phone number, my text area, and my new website, livinginnorthernarizona.com, is below. So come take a look, and I would gladly help you if you are embarking on purchasing a new home or selling something here in Sedona, Verde Valley, and Northern Arizona. I hope that if you like the video, you give me a thumbs up, perhaps hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I will see you back here again next week.